I'm really happy we had a victory before we were able to get back to do another episode because we sustained a 3-game losing streak with the Cavaliers, and that loss to Atlanta was ugly. It was ugly. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it, to the point where you're just kind of flabbergasted that this Hawks team, who didn't have a head coach at the time, now seemingly they do with Quinn Snyder, as we kind of predicted. It looked really rough, but then you go out and you get a victory like the one you did this past few games ago against Toronto. That was one where it seemed like the team really came back together. You had Donovan Mitchell looking like his self of the first part of the season. Jarrett Allen had a solid game, 23 points, 11 boards. And yeah, I think that the Cavaliers solidified their standing in the East. However, there are exterior factors uh, playing out right now that could affect the Cavaliers standing, even if they're not directly involved. You have Boston, who lost to Milwaukee last night. Now the Bucks are just ahead of them in the Eastern Conference standings. Milwaukee's on a tear, man, 14 wins in a row. You have the New York Knicks supplanting the Brooklyn Nets as the fifth team in the East. And that would make it a much harder first round matchup for the Cavaliers should they stick to that 4 seed, because you want to face the Knicks team who beat you at the Garden a couple of weeks ago, or do you want to face a Kevin Durant-less, Kyrie Irving-less Brooklyn Nets team?
I'll take either one of those two teams. I'll just say that right now. The team
Really?
that I don't want to play is Miami, and they're in the
Yeah.
7th spot right now. They're going to have to climb up. They're 11 games back in number 1, but really they're only 2.5 back of the Knicks in the 5 spot and 2 back of the Nets of the 6 seed. Looking at the standings, the Cavs, Mitch, have 18 games to go. They have some tough games coming up. They play Boston their next game.
Mm-hmm.
A really good test to see if this team is still on the same level. I mean, keep in mind, we're 2-0 against Boston this year. They had that thrilling win early in the season at Boston, then the thrilling win in Cleveland over Boston. Now, can they do it again? I mean, Boston, Mitch, is still, even though they lost their last game, still one of the top teams in the NBA, obviously one of the top 2 teams in the Eastern Conference. This is a good test for them, but with 18 games left to go, 39-25 with a 2.5 game lead over the Knicks, the Cavs absolutely, positively must make sure they hold down that 4 seed. I'm not ruling out the 3 seed with Philadelphia yet, but it's going to be hard to try to get back up there with some of the games you have left to play. You play some very talented teams. You still play Miami twice. That's why right now the Cavs have to win every game possible to create enough separation between them and Miami. That way, if they slip up against Miami, you're not talking about, oh, we play Miami in the first round, but, oh, we go to Miami in the first round. Because I'm not ruling out the Heat yet from being able to come up and compete with the Cavs for that 4 seed. They're still very, very talented. They're extremely well coached with Eric Spoelstra. But I'll take the Knicks or Nets. I have so much confidence because I truly believe Donovan Mitchell would come through in New York. We know he grew up there. We know how special Madison Square Garden is. Yes, that is a hostile crowd come playoff time, but I believe in Donovan Mitchell in a game like that or a series like that. And the Nets really don't scare me. Truthfully, I do not believe the Nets are going to stay in that 6th spot, Mitch. I believe that Miami will flip-flop at the very least, but I'm still keeping my eye on Miami. And I know how bad it was before the All-Star break. I'm still somewhat confident the Cavs could go the distance with the Philadelphia 76ers. Because right now, Mitch, I think it's Milwaukee and Boston in the East and everybody else. Because what have we seen in the past couple of years with Philadelphia? When they get in the playoffs, they become a different team. James Harden disappears. Joel Embiid cannot carry the load all by himself. As great as he is, he just can't as a center. This Cavs team has a lot of work to do with 18 games to go, Mitch. And that Hawks loss, as ugly as it was, may have been the wake-up call they needed, because this was the exact same spot last year, albeit it was due to injuries, that this Cavs team came out of the All-Star break and they fell flat and they started losing games, and it dropped them from that 4 seed all the way to the play-in tournament. The Cavs, I don't think, can go to the play-in tournament unless there are injuries, which, knock on wood, hopefully there are no injuries. But I feel good with where they're at. And the schedule now, Mitch, is going to get chaotic now as we move to the month of March. Just pulling it up here in front of me. The Celtics twice in the next 3 games. They have the Pistons in between there. The Heat twice. The Hornets twice. The Nets twice. I mean, you have some bad basketball teams in there. The Wizards are in there. The Rockets are in there. Take care of your business. That's all I'm worried about. I'm not worried about looking where the standings are. Just keep winning. That's all that matters right now.